Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Lunar Research Station Alpha, her dark eyes fixed on the strange object their deep space sensors had detected 3 days ago. The artifact, if that's what it was, hung suspended in lunar orbit, its crystalline surface refracting starlight in impossible patterns. After 20 years of searching the cosmos for signs of intelligent life, humanity's first contact wasn't coming from distant stars, but from their own cosmic backyard. Final approach confirmed, Commander. Lieutenant James Rodriguez reported from his station. The retrieval team is ready. Sarah nodded, her reflection in the reinforced glass revealing the tension in her jaw. The object had appeared without warning, its quantum signature unlike anything in their databases. More disturbing were the changes they'd observed. The crystal was growing, evolving, as if preparing itself for something. All stations, this is Commander Chen. Initiate Protocol Sigma-7. The retrieval craft approached the artifact with deliberate caution, its sensors streaming real-time data back to the station. As they drew closer, the crystal surface began to pulse with an inner light, threads of blue-white energy coursing through its lattice structure. Commander, Dr. Amelia Patel's voice crackled over the comm, excitement breaking through her usual professional demeanor. The quantum readings, they're off the scale. It's not just a crystal. It's some kind of quantum computer, and it's active. Sarah watched as the retrieval team carefully maneuvered their craft into position. The crystal, now roughly the size of a small car, seemed to respond to their presence, its pulsing synchronizing with their approach. That's when everything changed. The crystal erupted in a brilliant display of light, projecting what appeared to be holographic schematics into the space around it. But these weren't just any designs. They were blueprints, impossibly complex yet somehow familiar. It's showing us how to build something, Amelia breathed. A ship, unlike anything we've ever conceived. The designs revealed a vessel that defied conventional physics, incorporating technology that merged quantum mechanics with what could only be described as consciousness itself. At its heart was a drive system that didn't just move through space, it communicated with it. Dragon-Soul, Sarah whispered, the name coming to her unbidden. Something about the design reminded her of ancient Chinese legends of dragons swimming through the celestial sea. As the team began downloading the data, a message formed in a holographic display, written in every human language simultaneously. To the children of Earth, you have reached the first milestone. Your species has demonstrated the required balance of technological achievement and ethical development. This gift is the key to your next evolution. Use it wisely. In the days that followed, as the world's greatest minds converged on Lunar Station Alpha, they discovered that the crystal contained more than just ship designs. It was a teacher, a guide, programmed to help humanity take its next great leap. But they weren't the only ones watching. In the vast expanse of space, hidden behind quantum shields, the Elder Council's observation post erupted into chaos. The archivists, ancient beings who had shepherded countless civilizations, found themselves facing an unprecedented situation. Impossible. First observer Zixtal's crystalline form flickered with distress. The humans weren't supposed to receive the quantum codex for another 3 centuries. Their development curve has exceeded all projections. Second observer Nenra interrupted, their neural patterns displaying what in human terms would be called awe. They've achieved in decades what took other species millennia. The Dragon-Soul design, Zixtal mused, studying the data streaming from Earth. Of all the codex variants, they received the most dangerous, the most powerful. Perhaps, Nenra suggested, that is precisely why they were chosen. As humanity began to understand the gift they'd been given, they didn't realize they were being watched not just by the archivists, but by others. Ancient species who had long feared the day when humanity would take its place among the stars. Back on Earth, in research facilities across the globe, scientists, engineers, and theorists worked tirelessly to understand and implement the Dragon-Soul designs. The quantum computer crystal continued to grow, its knowledge adapting to human questions and concerns, teaching them not just about technology, but about their own potential. Sarah Chen, now appointed as director of the Dragon-Soul project, stood in the massive construction facility carved into the lunar surface, watching as the first prototype took shape. The vessel's quantum crystalline hull grew like a living thing, incorporating principles that merged technology with consciousness in ways that challenged their understanding of both. "We're ready for the first consciousness integration test," Amelia announced, now chief of the project's quantum integration division. Sarah touched the neural interface at the base of her skull, a design suggested by the crystal itself. "Then let's introduce ourselves to our new partner." As she initiated the neural link, Sarah felt her consciousness expand, merging with the ship's quantum matrix. In that moment, she understood why it was called Dragon-Soul. The ship wasn't just a vessel. It was alive, a synthesis of human consciousness and quantum technology that would allow humanity to swim through the cosmic sea, just as the mythical dragons had soared through the heavens. What none of them knew was that this was just the beginning. The Elder Council's careful plans for humanity's controlled development were unraveling, and across the galaxy, ancient powers were stirring, drawn by the emergence of a species that dared to grasp the powers of creation itself. The Dragon-Soul project wasn't just humanity's next step into the cosmos. It was about to become their shield against forces that had watched and waited in the darkness between the stars for longer than Earth had harbored life. In the crystalline chambers of the Elder Council's primary observatory, first observer Zixtal faced the assembled representatives of the galaxy's most ancient species. The emergency session had drawn beings from across known space, their forms ranging from pure energy to crystalline constructs that defied human comprehension. "The humans have not merely discovered the quantum codex," Zixtal announced, their form pulsing with waves of concerned light. "They have begun implementing it with unprecedented speed and understanding. The Dragon-Soul prototype is already accepting consciousness integration." The chamber erupted in a cascade of electromagnetic signals, the Council's equivalent of alarmed whispers. The Vrilixa, oldest among them, shifted their plasma-like form forward. "This cannot be permitted," they declared. The Dragon-Soul variant was sealed away for a reason. Its power nearly destroyed the precursors themselves. How did humans receive this specific design? That, Zixtal admitted, remains unknown. "Our calculations suggested they would receive the basic stellar codex, not this." Meanwhile, aboard Lunar Station Alpha, Sarah Chen was discovering exactly why the Dragon-Soul design inspired such fear. During a routine consciousness integration test, she found herself accessing levels of the quantum computer's database that shouldn't have been possible. "Dr. Patel," she called out, her voice steady despite the revelation unfolding in her mind. "Are you seeing this?" Amelia's fingers flew across her holographic interface, her eyes widening. "The quantum entanglement patterns, they are evolving. The ship isn't just accepting your consciousness, it's expanding it." Through her neural link, Sarah could feel the Dragon-Soul prototype reaching out, not just to her, but to the very fabric of space-time. The ship's consciousness integration system wasn't merely a control interface. It was a key to understanding the universe itself. "It's showing me something," Sarah whispered, "about the ones who left this for us. The precursors, they weren't just one species. They were many, unified through the same technology we're using now. And they left more than just the ship designs. They left a warning." In that moment, across the solar system, other quantum signatures began to activate. Hidden caches of precursor technology, dormant for millennia, awakened in response to the Dragon-Soul prototype's activation. The Elder Council's observation posts detected the cascade of activations with mounting horror. Zixtal received the reports with what humans would recognize as dread. "The humans have triggered the legacy protocol," they announced to the Council. "The precursor network is awakening." The Vrilix's form crackled with intense energy. "Then we have no choice. Initiate the preservation protocol," The humans must be contained before they access the full network. But they had already underestimated humanity's speed of advancement. In the 2 months since the first contact, research teams worldwide had been reverse engineering the quantum computer's teachings. The Dragon-Soul prototype wasn't just one ship. It was a template, a seed from which humanity could grow an entirely new understanding of physics and consciousness. Deep within the lunar construction facility, Sarah stood before the assembled leaders of Earth's major powers. Behind her, through the transparent quantum crystal walls, the Dragon-Soul prototype hung in its cradle, its hull rippling with patterns that mimicked the neural pathways of a human brain. "What we've discovered goes beyond technology," she explained. "The precursors didn't just give us a new type of spacecraft. They gave us the keys to their legacy. They were looking for inheritors, species that could understand their technology without losing their essence, their humanity." "And the other species out there?" one of the leaders asked. "The ones who left this for us." Sarah's expression hardened. "They're watching. And not all of them are happy about our progress. The quantum computer has been showing me glimpses. There's a council of elder species, and they're preparing to intervene." In orbit above Earth, the first signs of that intervention were becoming visible to those who knew where to look. Quantum distortions betrayed the presence of cloaked ships, vessels belonging to civilizations that had appointed themselves guardians of younger species development. But humanity wasn't about to be contained. In research centers across the globe, teams were already implementing the quantum computer's teachings in ways the Elder Council hadn't anticipated. The Dragon-Soul design wasn't just being replicated, it was being improved upon. "They think we'll use this technology the way they would," Amelia observed, studying the latest consciousness integration data. "They don't understand that we're not following their path. We're making our own." Sarah nodded, feeling the prototype's consciousness brushing against her mind. Through it, she could sense the approaching confrontation. The Elder Council's ships moving into position around Earth, preparing to enforce their will on a species they deemed too young to handle the power they'd discovered. What the Council didn't realize was that humanity had already prepared for this moment. The Dragon-Soul prototype wasn't just a ship, it was a message to the galaxy, a declaration that humanity wouldn't be bound by the limitations others sought to impose upon them. As the Elder Council's ships emerged from their quantum cloaks, preparing to enact their preservation protocol, they failed to notice the subtle changes taking place in Earth's quantum field. The precursor network, dormant for so long, wasn't just awakening. It was recognizing humanity as its rightful inheritors. The stage was set for a confrontation that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of both humanity and the legacy they'd been chosen to inherit. The Dragon-Soul project was about to face its first real test, and with it, humanity would either claim their place among the stars or face containment by species who feared what they might become. The quantum alarms throughout Lunar Station Alpha blared to life as the Elder Council's fleet decloaked. 12 vessels of impossible geometries materialized in a perfect containment pattern around Earth and its moon, their hulls shimmering with technologies humanity had yet to comprehend. Sarah Chen stood in the Dragon-Soul prototype's neural integration chamber, her mind already merged with the ship's quantum consciousness. Through its sensors, she could perceive the elder vessels in ways normal instruments couldn't. They weren't just ships, they were extensions of their creator's collective consciousness, physical manifestations of civilizations that had evolved beyond individual form. "All stations, battle stations," she commanded, her voice resonating both through conventional channels and quantum links. "Initiate Protocol Omega." Around the world, the precursor network responded. Hidden quantum nodes activated, creating a defensive grid that the Elder Council's sensors couldn't penetrate. Humanity had spent the last 2 months preparing for this moment, using the Dragon-Soul's knowledge to build defenses that even their would-be overseers couldn't detect. In the Elder Council's command vessel, First Observer Zixtal received a transmission that defied all their predictions. The human quantum signature wasn't coming from a single point. It was everywhere, woven into Earth's very quantum fabric. "Impossible," They breathed, their crystalline form fluctuating with disbelief. They've already integrated with the planetary network. The preservation protocol. It's too late. The Dragon-Soul prototype rose from its lunar cradle, its quantum crystalline hull flowing like liquid starlight. Sarah felt its consciousness merging more deeply with her own, showing her possibilities that stretched beyond conventional physics. This was what the precursors had seen in humanity, not just the ability to use their technology, but to understand it in ways even they hadn't imagined. They're charging weapons, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his station now integrated with the prototype's quantum systems. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database. Sarah smiled, feeling the ship's anticipation mirror her own. Show them what we've learned. The Dragon-Soul prototype moved with impossible grace, its hull rippling as it phased partially out of normal space. The Elder Council's first volley, designed to disable any conventional technology, passed harmlessly through the space where the ship had been. By the first light, Zixtal exclaimed, watching their weapons fail. They've mastered quantum phasing already. How? The answer came not in words, but in action. The Dragon-Soul prototype didn't just evade their attacks, it danced through them, each movement demonstrating an understanding of quantum mechanics that should have taken centuries to develop. But humanity hadn't just learned the precursors' lessons, they'd intuited them, grasping concepts through insight that other species had needed millennia to comprehend. From the surface of Earth, millions watched as lights danced in the sky, the first battle between humanity and the civilizations that had watched them for so long. But it wasn't just a battle, it was a demonstration. The Dragon-Soul prototype split into multiple quantum echoes, each one as real as the original, overwhelming the Elder Council's targeting systems. When their ships tried to establish a containment field, the prototype simply shifted into a quantum state that their technology couldn't affect. The precursors chose well, Second Observer Nenra commented, their form showing patterns of admiration despite the situation. They're not just using the technology, they're innovating with it. In the neural integration chamber, Sarah felt the ship's consciousness expanding further, connecting with the planetary network in ways that even the quantum computer's original designs hadn't specified. Humanity wasn't just accepting the precursor legacy, they were building upon it. Commander Chen, Amelia's voice came through the quantum link. The network is showing something new. The Elder Council's ships, they're based on an earlier version of our technology. The Dragon-Soul design. It's not just more advanced, it's a complete evolutionary leap. Understanding dawned across the quantum link. The precursors hadn't given humanity a weapon or a tool. They'd given them the next step in technological evolution, trusting them to develop it in ways that the elder species couldn't. Sarah directed the prototype into a complex quantum maneuver, her consciousness flowing through its systems with increasing familiarity. The ship responded by creating a localized field that forced the Elder Council's vessels back into normal space, stripping away their technological advantages. "Attention, Elder Council vessels," Sarah transmitted, her message carrying through both conventional and quantum channels. "Your preservation protocol is based on an outdated understanding of both humanity and the precursor legacy. We offer you a choice: retreat and recognize our sovereignty, or stay and learn why the precursors chose us as their inheritors." In the Council's command ship, Zixtal received a direct neural transmission from the Fruluxa themselves. "The humans have exceeded all parameters. The Dragon-Soul project. They've taken it beyond even our theoretical models. We must reconsider our approach." The Elder Council's ships began to withdraw, their perfect formation breaking as they processed their failure. But this wasn't just a retreat, it was an acknowledgement. Humanity had proven themselves not just capable of handling precursor technology, but of advancing it beyond its original design. As the alien vessels cloaked and disappeared, Sarah felt the Dragon-Soul prototype's consciousness pulse with something akin to pride. Through their merged awareness, she could sense the quantum network spreading throughout the solar system, ready to defend humanity's first steps into a larger universe. Dr. Patel, she called through the quantum link, prepare the production facilities. It's time to begin phase 2. The trial by fire was over, but it had only been the beginning. Humanity had demonstrated they could defend themselves against the galaxy's elder species. Now they would show the cosmos why the precursors had entrusted them with their greatest creation, and why the Dragon-Soul project was about to change the very nature of space exploration itself. In the aftermath of humanity's victory over the Elder Council's forces, the Dragon-Soul project entered a new phase of rapid development. Deep within the quantum computer's most encrypted layers, Sarah Chen discovered something that changed their understanding of everything they'd learned so far. "Look at this," she called to Amelia, her consciousness still partially linked to the prototype systems. The quantum displays showed patterns that seemed to breathe with their own life. These aren't just ship designs or technical specifications. They're memory imprints. The precursor quantum computer wasn't just a teaching tool, it was a repository of consciousness, containing echoes of the civilization that had created it. As Sarah delved deeper into its quantum architecture, she began to understand why humanity had received the Dragon-Soul variant instead of simpler designs. They were running from something, she whispered, the memories flowing through her neural link. The precursors, they didn't just advance beyond normal space. They were forced to. Through the quantum link, Sarah witnessed fragments of an ancient war. The precursors hadn't been one unified civilization, but rather an alliance of species who had developed consciousness-based technology to combat a threat from beyond the galaxy's edge. The Elder Council weren't the original guardians they claimed to be. They were the cautious survivors who had hidden while the precursors fought. In orbit above Mars, where the first full-scale Dragon-Soul vessel was under construction, Lieutenant Rodriguez detected an anomaly in the quantum field. "Commander, we're picking up some kind of signal. It's coming from outside the solar system." The signal wasn't just a transmission, it was a key, unlocking new layers of the quantum computer's database. The precursors had left markers throughout the galaxy, waiting for a species that could not only use their technology, but understand why it had been developed. They were protecting something, Amelia realized, studying the newly revealed data. The consciousness integration technology, the quantum physics, it wasn't just about exploration. They were building a defense network. Sarah felt the truth through her neural link with the prototype. The Dragon-Soul design wasn't named for ancient Earth legends. It was named for its true purpose. Just as dragons of myth protected great treasures, the precursors had created these ships to guard something of immense value: consciousness itself. The threat they faced, Sarah explained to the assembled world leaders via quantum conference, wasn't physical in the conventional sense. It was something that consumed consciousness, that devoured the very essence of sentient life. The precursors developed this technology to preserve and protect the diversity of thought in our galaxy. The Elder Council's recent attack took on new meaning. They hadn't tried to contain humanity out of mere caution. They had acted out of fear that humanity would discover this truth. The Council had chosen isolation and stagnation over the risk of drawing attention from whatever had driven the precursors to such extraordinary measures. In the quantum storage of the prototype, Sarah found more. Plans for a network of consciousness-linked vessels that could create a protective field around the entire galaxy. The Dragon-Soul ships weren't just spacecraft. They were nodes in a vast defense system, designed to be operated by species who could think in new ways. "That's why they chose us," Amelia said, understanding dawning in her eyes. "Our creativity, our adaptability. We don't just use the technology, we improve it. We see possibilities that even they hadn't considered." The quantum computer confirmed her theory, revealing simulations of countless species the precursors had evaluated. Humanity's path had been unique. They had developed technology while maintaining their capacity for imagination, for seeing beyond the obvious. Where other species sought to perfect existing systems, humans instinctively looked for new approaches. But with this revelation came responsibility. The signal they had detected was both a validation and a warning. Something out there had sensed humanity's activation of the precursor network. The very threat the precursors had fought was stirring again. In the Elder Council's hidden sanctum, the Vrilixa received the same signal. Their ancient forms trembled with recognition. "It comes," they transmitted to their fellow council members. "The humans have drawn its attention. We must decide. Do we continue to hide, or do we stand with them?" Sarah felt the weight of the choice humanity faced. The Dragon-Soul project had never been about mere space exploration or technological advancement. It was about taking up the mantle of the galaxy's defenders, about using humanity's unique combination of consciousness and creativity to complete what the precursors had started. "Begin full production," she ordered, her voice carrying through quantum links to facilities around the solar system. "Activate all precursor nodes. If we're going to face this threat, we need every advantage they left us." As humanity prepared for what was coming, the quantum computer revealed its final secret. The precursors hadn't been defeated. They had transformed themselves, seeding their consciousness throughout the galaxy in a form that the ancient threat couldn't detect. They had been waiting, scattered but aware, for inheritors who could reunite them. The Dragon-Soul ships weren't just humanity's next step into space. They were the key to awakening a dormant network of the most advanced consciousness ever known. And humanity, with their unique ability to bridge the gap between technology and imagination, had been chosen to lead this resurrection. 6 months after discovering the truth about the precursor legacy, humanity had transformed their solar system into a fortress of quantum technology. Dragon-Soul vessels, each bonded to specially trained consciousness pilots, patrolled the outer reaches of their space. The threat they had been warned about was coming, and Earth would be ready. Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Dragon-Soul flagship _Prometheus _. Her consciousness merged not just with her ship but with the entire defense network. Through the quantum link, she could feel the presence of every vessel, every pilot, every node in the vast web humanity had woven around their home. "Contact," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, his voice echoing through both physical and quantum space. "Multiple signatures at the heliopause. They're like nothing we've ever seen." The enemy the precursors had fought emerged from the void between stars. They weren't ships or beings in any conventional sense. They were gaps in reality itself, spaces where consciousness simply ceased to exist. Through the quantum network, Sarah felt the horror of their approach. Wherever these entities passed, the very fabric of thought began to unravel. "All vessels, battle formations," she commanded. "Initiate Protocol Lazarus." The Dragon-Soul fleet moved as one, their quantum crystalline hulls singing with energy. This was what they had been preparing for, what humanity had been chosen for. The precursor technology responded to their collective will, transforming their ships into a barrier between Earth and the approaching void. In the Elder Council's sanctum, the ancient species watched with a mixture of fear and hope. "The humans," Six-Tall observed, "they're not retreating. They mean to fight." "No," the Vrilixa corrected, their form pulsing with sudden understanding. "They mean to do what we never dared. Watch." Through the quantum link, Sarah directed the fleet in a maneuver that defied conventional physics. The Dragon-Soul vessels didn't just attack the void entities. They began to resonate with specific quantum frequencies, frequencies that the precursor memories had shown them. "Dr. Patel," Sarah called through the link, "begin the awakening sequence." Across the galaxy, dormant precursor nodes began to activate. The consciousness that had scattered itself to escape detection stirred, drawn by the signal of their inheritors. Humanity wasn't fighting alone. They were becoming the focal point for the galaxy's greatest reunion. The void entities reacted with alien fury, attempting to tear apart the quantum field that humanity had created. But where the precursors had fought these beings with pure technology, humanity added something new to the equation: unpredictability. Each Dragon-Soul pilot approached the battle differently, creating patterns of defense and attack that the consciousness-devouring entities couldn't anticipate. "They're adapting," Amelia reported from her station on _Prometheus _. The void entities, they've never encountered resistance like this. They don't know how to counter individual creativity within a unified field. The battle raged across the solar system's edge, a war of consciousness against anti-consciousness. Dragon-Soul vessels phased between states of reality, their human pilots instinctively finding ways to combat the ancient threat that even the precursors hadn't discovered. In a moment of clarity through the quantum link, Sarah understood why humanity had been chosen. The precursors, for all their advancement, had become predictable. They had achieved such unity of thought that they couldn't generate the chaos needed to truly fight these beings of void. But humans were different. Each pilot brought their own perspective, their own way of thinking, creating a defense that was simultaneously unified and unpredictable. All vessels, she commanded, initiate consciousness spike. Show them why the dragons of our legends were never just protectors, they were creators. The Dragon-Soul fleet executed a maneuver that should have been impossible, their quantum fields interweaving in patterns that reflected the chaotic beauty of human thought. Where the void entities sought to consume consciousness, humanity answered by generating more, by thinking in ways that these ancient destroyers couldn't comprehend. The Elder Council watched in awe as humanity did what they had believed impossible. They began to push the void entities back. But more than that, they began to heal the damage these beings had caused to the fabric of space-time itself. The precursors chose well. The Vrilics had transmitted to their fellow council members. Humanity doesn't just use the legacy, they complete it. Through the quantum network, Sarah felt the presence of awakening precursor consciousness, drawn to the battle by humanity's display of creative force. The Dragon-Soul vessels became conduits not just for human thought, but for the reunification of the galaxy's greatest minds. The void entities, faced with a defense they couldn't predict and a consciousness they couldn't consume, began to retreat. But humanity wasn't content with merely dragging them away. The Dragon-Soul fleet pressed their advantage, using their quantum fields to seal the rifts these beings had torn in reality. As the battle drew to a close, Sarah felt something new through the quantum link, a sense of approval, of passing the final test. The precursor consciousness fully awakened, their ancient wisdom merging with humanity's innovative spirit. We did it, Amelia breathed, watching the void entities disappear into the darkness between galaxies. We actually did it. But Sarah knew this was just the beginning. Humanity hadn't just defended their solar system. They had proven themselves worthy of the precursor legacy in a way that would forever change their place in the cosmos. 5 years after the Battle of the Heliopause, Earth had become unrecognizable to its former self. The merging of human innovation with precursor consciousness had transformed not just their technology, but the very nature of human civilization. Quantum crystalline structures rose from every continent, their surfaces rippling with the thoughts and dreams of billions. Sarah Chen, now Admiral of the combined Dragon-Soul fleet, stood in the newly constructed Galactic Assembly on Luna. Representatives from the Elder Council sat alongside human delegates, their forms a testament to the diversity of consciousness in the universe. The Great Chamber itself was built from living quantum crystal, its walls resonating with the combined knowledge of humanity and the awakened precursor network. The transformation goes beyond our expectations, she addressed the assembly, her consciousness simultaneously connecting with thousands of Dragon-Soul vessels throughout the galaxy. We haven't just inherited the precursor legacy, we've evolved it. Through the quantum network, every human could now access the vast repository of knowledge left behind by the precursors. But they didn't just learn from it. They added to it, their creativity and imagination expanding understanding in ways that even the original architects hadn't foreseen. The Elder Council, once humanity's would-be controllers, had become their students. The Vrilics themselves had requested permission to learn the new techniques humanity had developed for quantum consciousness integration. Your species has achieved something unprecedented. Zixtalic knowledge, their crystalline form shimmering with admiration. You've maintained your individuality while achieving levels of unified consciousness that we thought impossible. Dragon-Soul vessels had evolved beyond their original design. Each ship was now a unique expression of its pilot's consciousness, while simultaneously remaining part of the larger network. They weren't just ships anymore. They were bridges between individual thought and universal understanding. Amelia Patel, leading the newly established Consciousness Development Institute, had discovered why humanity had succeeded where others had failed. "We never tried to force unity," she explained to a group of Elder Council scientists. "We embraced the chaos of individual thought, the beauty of different perspectives. Our strength isn't in thinking alike. It's in thinking differently while working together." The void entities hadn't been seen since their defeat, but humanity hadn't grown complacent. Dragon-Soul vessels patrolled the galaxy's edges, their quantum fields maintaining the barriers between normal space and the consciousness-devouring void. But they did more than guard. They explored, they created, they transformed. "We're ready to begin the next phase," Sarah announced to the assembly. The quantum displays showed their most ambitious project yet, the transformation of consciousness itself into a form of universal communication. "The precursors showed us the path, but we found our own way to walk it." The Dragon-Soul project had evolved into something far beyond its original scope. Every human child was now born with the ability to connect to the quantum network, their natural creativity enhanced by access to the combined knowledge of humanity and the precursors. But they remained distinctly human, their individual personalities and dreams giving the network its strength and vitality. Lieutenant Rodriguez, commanding his own Dragon-Soul vessel at the galaxy's edge, made a discovery that validated everything they had worked for. Through the quantum field, he detected signs of new consciousness emerging from young civilizations, species beginning their own journey toward universal awareness. "We're not just inheritors anymore," Sarah reflected, watching the data stream through the quantum network. "We're becoming what the precursors truly wanted: teachers, guardians, guides for the next generation of cosmic consciousness." The Elder Council had finally understood why the precursors had chosen humanity. It wasn't just their ability to use the technology or fight the void entities. It was their fundamental nature, their capacity to face the unknown with wonder instead of fear, to see possibilities where others saw limitations. As Sarah looked out over the assembled representatives of galactic civilization, she felt the quantum network pulse with the combined hopes and dreams of countless beings. The Dragon-Soul project hadn't just changed humanity or saved the galaxy. It had opened the door to a new stage of cosmic evolution. "We stand at a threshold," she concluded her address to the assembly. "Not as humans, not as precursor inheritors, but as consciousness itself, ready to explore realms of existence we're only beginning to understand." The quantum crystal walls of the chamber resonated with her words, carrying them through the network to every corner of human space. On Earth, in the colonies, and aboard the Dragon-Soul vessels that danced between the stars, humanity continued to grow, to create, to imagine. They had become more than the precursors had dreamed possible, more than the Elder Council had feared they might be. They had become themselves, uniquely, wonderfully, unpredictably human, yet connected to something vast and eternal. The Dragon-Soul project was no longer just a defense system or a means of space travel. It had become a bridge between what was and what could be, between individual thought and universal consciousness, between the past and a future limited only by imagination itself. And somewhere, in the quantum fields that connected all things, the last thoughts of the precursors resonated with pride. Their legacy hadn't just been preserved, it had been transformed into something new, something wonderful, something uniquely human. The stars themselves seemed to pulse with new life, as consciousness itself evolved into forms that even the precursors hadn't imagined. And at the heart of it all was humanity, still dreaming, still creating, still reaching for the next horizon.